So should we call the meeting to order?
Yeah, let's do
We
it.
shall, let's.
Wonderful. So the first item would be my report, which will be as always brief. First, the design meeting we had, I thought was spectacular, watching it up there, watching you guys go through all of the ballots, and I couldn't really hear.
It was really fun.
Did you like our backsides?
I could see some of the stuff, I could see some of y'all moving, but a ton of work by, of course, the staff and our consultants and you guys picking it all out, so very excited about that project, and of course, what can you say about the fun over in the kids area and at the food trucks, and thank you for these wonderful donuts to the
Yes,
anonymous
thank
donor
you.
who gave those.
Did we need to approve
Alright.
the regular and consent agendas, or because there's not really?
Oh, does
Oh,
anyone
yeah, I
have
guess.
something they'd like to remove? I don't, from the consent agenda. Wonderful.
I'll move to approve the regular and consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Alright, yes, the festivities are really wonderful right now. It looked like parking was holding out, people were using the shuttle, the food trucks were selling lots of tasty treats, everybody's signing up for summer reading. There's many craft and activity and game stations throughout the library, and when I walked around, there were mobs of people at every single one, so it's a very successful
That's nice when
summer
they do
reading.
that, yeah.
And I have to thank the staff, especially in adult and teen and youth services, for working so hard on this effort. It takes a lot of creativity and planning and organization and credit card transactions to make something like this happen, so.
I love the t-shirt.
Yeah, all of the, everybody has a different shirt.
We get to pick
It's
our own
great.
t-shirts, yeah.
I just wish they had the female collar.
I know.
You know me, sorry.
Where'd they get all the no parking signs?
We bought them.
There's a lot of
Which
them.
one? I didn't notice. What are you talking about?
any.
You know where to burrow.
Yeah, I know
You
where to
those for
get
your
some.
house, that's funny.
The library is participating in a Library Explorers Challenge this summer. I think this was in an email or something somewhere. I can't remember where it was posted, but this is being spearheaded by the Troy Public Library, and they asked area libraries to participate in this program, and there's a little passport book that patrons are encouraged to take to each of the participating libraries, and they get a stamp in their book. And each library was asked to provide something special about that library that would draw people to it. For us, it was the Accessibility Support Collection.
Oh, nice.
The other participating libraries are Baldwin, Novi, Troy, West Bloomfield, and Rochester Hills. So just something a little bit different that
So
we.
patrons can come in and get a passport, can come in here.
Mhm.
Where do they get that?
At the Adult and Teen and Youth Services Desk.
Fun.
Or Youth Services Desk,
I
yeah.
thought it was a nice group of libraries coming together too.
Yeah. There are some parking lot repairs happening. at long last.
They're
Yay.
kind of needed. Yes.
I know. There are 2 dates just to be aware of. This Saturday, the west side of the parking lot, so the side closer to Telegraph, is being patched. That was just for you, Judy.
Thank you, I
It's
appreciate it.
being patched, so patrons will not be able to use the drive-up return, nor will they be able to make donations in the donation room. If somebody brings them to the front desk, we'll take them there, but we're not encouraging that. The library will still be open. We have a pretty non-eventful day that day, so we don't think it'll be too much of a
Does the
problem.
patching include the big hole?
They're coming in.
No, we're just gonna leave it
We
like
can have naming
that.
rights to that.
Just asking, patching could be.
Yes, it includes the big hole, yeah.
Thank you.
And then on July 4th, when the library is closed for the holiday, there will be a crew here applying top coat, seal coat, whatever you call it, resealing the surface and restriping the whole parking lot. So the whole parking lot will be closed. Again, no one will be able to use the drive-up return or they won't be able to donate items because we'll be closed. Circulation sets it so that there's no books returned or due back that day anyway. And we're hoping that since we're fines free now, people won't be too worried about
Right.
returning their stuff. So we're working on, we have some signs ready to go that we'll put out by the driveway, and we're gonna send out an email notice and put it on our website.
Not the no parking though.
Maybe.
Oh.
Please note that in the memo that I included in the packet about our discussion, there is a date in there for our public budget hearing meeting, which is July 31st. That's a Thursday at 10 a.m. That is, so if you remember, August is when we do our preliminary proposed budget, which is what we have to prepare for the township to tell them how many mills we want to levy this year. And we always have Matt Whitty from Schwartz and Company come and give us a review of our investments in the general fund. That is a work session meeting, it's not a public meeting, so you can join via Zoom if you want, Zoom or Teams. But I just wanted to make sure that that was on your
And it was
calendar.
10.
This is on the
Yeah.
31st?
31st, Thursday,
31st
10 a.m.
At 10 a.m.
That's the work meeting and the public meeting is,
Then the regular board meeting will be August 19th? Yeah. And in my written report, I included a note about our fire inspection. There were just some very minor infractions, as I said, and the fire inspector did say that our building was in really good shape, especially compared to a lot of other buildings in the township. So we can be proud of that. And then if you have any questions or wanna talk more about the design project, we can do that under new business, but that's all I have for my report.
Thank you. Anna, what do you got?
Well,
Well, wait
SOC is
Wait a second, we're out of order,
out of order.
Oh, we gotta do our budget.
budget.
Let's get
Okay.
her out of here, let's get her out of here
Budget,
early. Do you wanna set these up, or do you want me to set them up and you knock them down?
You set them up.
So if you look at page 4, you'll see there's a couple of things Tara and I talked about. There's a lot of people listed on this, and these materials are all public. So we talked about perhaps in the future, we'll just say employee or patron as opposed to identifying everyone.
And I can just leave those off of the cash comments. I just know previous boards were interested in anytime a check was written to an individual, so that's why I include them, but I can leave them off if you guys are not interested, because they're usually small amounts, as Shane said.
Then we're gonna do-
Interesting, I can't believe that we never thought about the fact that we were putting patrons' information.
Private
that.
information documents.
I don't mind if they're left off.
I don't either, but should we set a threshold for
I
an
think-
amount?
Yeah,
I think so.
Like if it's over a certain amount, then we should
like
know?
$500.
Sure, they'll never show up.
It would only be like expenses from a conference or something like that, right?
Well, that's not so
Well-
much my concern, I'm thinking about
Patrons.
patrons.
Yeah. So there's two categories, there's patrons and there's employees.
Mhm.
The employees, it doesn't worry me so much because they're public employees, all this stuff is FOIA-able anyway. But patrons, we should just, what I'm thinking is I won't call them out in cash comments anymore. And I will just, on the check register, we'll change their name to patron.
I think that's probably fine.
And then if you want just to reduce the cash comments, I can leave off the employees' checks if you're not,
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, if you see something extraordinary,
okay,
let us know.
I'll call you, okay.
It's a choice.
And you can always call it out when we talk about it.
On
I will say it is interesting to see how many items are lost or, you know, some of those things.
Well, you'll still see,
Yeah,
you'll still know that that's a lost item
Right.
if it says patron,
Right.
yeah.
These are lost items that were found.
Yes.
right.
Yeah, I had one of those once, and I went to the mat, I said, I returned it, and then I found it in the back seat between the cushions, and it was like,
Did you
oh,
walk in with the guilt walk?
I know, I just,
Like-
I was like, I don't want my money, I just kind of returned it.
here.
I know.
On page 5, I just noticed the water, I don't know what you guys pay for water, but we paid $800, which seems a little bit crazy low. We think it's just a timing issue.
Well, and when we look back at what the water looks like on historically, they always seem to I don't know, they figure it out in the end somehow.
I feel
They're
like
always a
May and
little bit off.
October are always like either really high or really low.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that it makes you wonder, like, did something happen
Right, it's
during
just
that
the
time?
weather,
Then it
yeah.
all kind of
Yeah.
evens out somehow.
Yeah, I
It
really,
must, it must be their accounting somehow.
yeah.
We talked about the plant and Moran fee, 3,700. We think that given our new CFO, once we get through the audit, you'll see those fees stop. And then on the budget itself, on page 9, I didn't really have much. I think we're 16% through the budget. You see a couple items over. We talked about them last time. Our periodicals budget's at 60%, so that's the only anomaly I really noticed.
And that, I think we said last month, was a timing, because a lot of things are purchased.
Yeah, just like the Sky River, the electronic services Sky River line, building insurance.
And then as a prelude to our July meeting on page 11, you can see our general fund balance, which at this point seems pretty nice. That's my comments. Anybody else have anything?
What is Web Dewey?
It is an online subscription to the Dewey Decimal Manual. Did you ever see that Dewey Decimal Manual? It's like 4 big fat books that catalogers use to look up what's the right Dewey number for
Maybe
books.
years ago.
And
I guess it's on, I guess
I know.
we don't
They
have the
still
books
use
anymore.
We didn't buy it for a really long time, for many years, but this year, and I can't remember why, Lori said that they're just doing a lot of original cataloging right now, and they've had to refer to Dewey a lot, so they decided to
Interesting.
subscribe to that.
My other question, is there any need to see what's on the library credit card?
I didn't plant that question. I swear to God.
No, you didn't.
Shane had asked about this too. It's up to you all. I will tell you this. Our library credit card, there are 14 staff who have a library credit card. All of those people are department heads or assistant department heads except for one. Everybody has a pretty low limit. The limits are around $1,000 or $2,000. Mine is probably the highest at $4,000. It's used for a variety of purchases, like signing up for a conference. There's a lot of like Adobe will only accept a credit card payment. We have some other software. Zoom has to have a credit card payment. So there are things like that. The expenses are each individual transaction is pretty low. There's a very extensive process that people use to verify each transaction. Everybody who spends something on their credit card has to fill out a form saying general fund or gift fund, what account it goes to, what it's for, and then it has to be signed by a supervisor. It gets vetted by the finance coordinator. She reconciles it every month. And then it's all coded to an account. So when you review the budget report, you're seeing expenses that are coming out of that account. It's a ton of paper. It's like a big fat thing because we get a statement for every single one of those 14 people. Plus then we have one piece of paper for their credit card verification, then the backup documentation. So it's a big fat thing. It's really hard to sum up. But if you
Where
want
we
me
left
to
it was,
bring it, I can.
I asked her to look, next time she goes through all those, to just look and see if it makes sense. If there's a dollar threshold, maybe we see just, they would add that to the register list or something like that. Just let her think about it for a month. Maybe, unless you have another idea.
I think
No.
these, just going back with Joan, when we first started, we did not have these computers. We had pages upon pages upon pages that were Xerox, and then they delivered them to our house, the booklets. So you'd come in with booklets like this. I had so many white booklets because you get one each month. But all of those things that you're talking about were before us, and I think one of the reasons, I don't know that they at that point, they weren't putting the things online, so because they didn't have a way of doing that, I don't think electronically, so
The
we
packet, you mean?
the packet,
Yeah.
because the packet was so thick, but I mean, I'm talking hundreds of pages, and so we would get
Did it include all of that stuff?
we got all of those reports, and so because I'm like the archivist, I've got every single packet now. When we started, I've archived here, so I can always go back and look. But yeah, so it would be just like you go through and your eyes would be crossed because you were just like, okay. But we never made the change simply because it was just something that we were used to. And then when they finally they went on the computer, everything to us was just like a godsend because it was just like, okay, it's there, and I don't think we ever talked about doing it, but it makes no difference to me because you're right, it's just so nominal. But I think Shane's idea to just look at maybe for the next couple of months just to see.
Yeah. And I can even, I should have done it tonight, but I can bring the whole packet of stuff and you can like paw through it if you would like. Just to see you can see the
When you
process.
say paw through it.
She might like just paw through it.
Sounds really appealing.
It seems archaic because maybe I'm missing something, but I get the part of wanting to make sure everything is just and correct but you all have an oversight process in place. So what is the purpose of us going through each receipt or each compilation?
I completely agree with you. Let's do this. Bring us that, we'll paw through it at the next meeting and decide. We'll just pass it around, just bring one copy. We'll look at it for a minute
It'll
and
bring
we'll
back
see.
bad memories for
And
us.
if it's exactly what we all think it is, which is $3, $7, $22.
It is. Is
Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's all reconciled back to an account.
Yeah.
But if
So-
anyone had a FOIA request, that would be kind of funny. Give them the book so that they can see through.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. If somebody wanted to see it, sure, I would.
Right.
give it
And
to
you have it, but you have to have it. So,
Yeah,
but
we have them.
it's not.
They're all in
Do you have an online expense management tool, or you, like, we use Concur. I've used Concur at a couple different places where I've worked, but everything is done digitally, it's done online.
You
and
mean
then
for
there's
you
an
as an
audited-
individual with your expenses?
Mhm.
No, we don't have anything like that.
I'm just wondering if maybe that's too big of a process, but that way there's an audit trail too of approval. And
There is, it's just in paper.
that's what I'm saying, is it maybe, anywho, let's paw
Yeah.
through it next time and then maybe go from there.
It's a symbol paw. That's what she did.
Yep.
Like paw.
I suppose we could, yeah, we could consider something online. It seems like a low priority, because what we have works.
And it has.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'll bring it next time and you can go through it.
No, paw through it.
Okay, unfortunately, I won't be here at the next meeting, so I won't get to.
You're gonna
follow.
miss, you're gonna miss
I
that
think we
paw.
should make a copy and have it delivered to your
That's
house.
right.
A triplicate.
Kathy might shoot me.
But they were so nice, the people who would deliver them to the house.
Yeah.
I just remember them, they would knock on the
Yeah.
door and it'd be pouring rain and they'd be, here's your package.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have any comments on this section?
No.
Can I read the motion on page 12? I move to approve monthly cash disbursements in the form of checks noted in the resolution for a grand total of $544,865.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do we do that every time?
Lyndon, what do you want to
Just
do next?
started.
We just
Uh,
started.
Yeah, this is only
I
the
think-
second
I think we
one.
don't have any remaining items on the consent agenda, so we're good there.
Okay.
So you're on to the regular agenda.
I know, it's.
You can call the public now.
To answer your question, it's, when we removed it from the consent agenda, we
Oh,
never
I
did this
see.
before, you're right, but now we have to actually approve it as part of this.
I get it, thank you.
Sorry, with that
okay.
brief omission, go ahead.
So, SOC is busy making plans. The first thing we did as the current SOC is we had a bottle and can drive. So we could raise
I'm
some
glad you added
funds.
can, because I just heard about it.
Yeah, and we got really lucky because we only got like soda and that kind of
Oh,
stuff.
got it,
That was good. We don't have any graduates this year, so there's no party for graduates. We are currently doing a plant fundraiser. People can, for a small donation, whenever they wish to donate to SOC, they can bring in a plant and take a plant. So that's been popular in the past. And we are heading towards our casual month, which I know is fun for staff.
What month is that?
July.
July, yeah. And I'm thinking we'll have some other fun stuff. We just have.
Summer reading, we're doing summer
Oh
reading.
yeah, summer reading, we got, and we are hosting, I don't even know what they call it, but we're doing a staff summer reading.
Okay.
And the person that wins, whose name gets drawn, will get a $25 gift certificate to the food place of their choice.
Nice.
So they started that, I don't know if it's last year or 2 years ago. So it sounded like a really nice thing to continue, and I know staff enjoyed doing that. But yeah, we're planning stuff. We have a fun group this year on SOC, so we're planning stuff.
We're glad you're back on
Yeah, it's fun.
Good.
I'm causing trouble. Oh wait, no.
And happy congratulations on your.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's great. Does anybody have any unfinished business? Or any new business? There's no items from the consent agenda to discuss, which takes us to other, and I have two. Both of them were customer complaints.
Wait, we didn't remove any, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Judy, what's going on with all these larvae?
With all the what?
Larva.
You know what, it was a combination of the wet, and then you had the humidity, and then you had a plant that they were attracted to, so I didn't notice it, but when I read that, cause I just read it this, I'm gonna have to go and take a look,
So was that taken care of?
I don't know. I don't
The
even know.
fritillaria is a bulb plant, so I don't know, they could
It's
just dig it out.
gone right now.
So it's gone,
Yeah, it should be, but I'm not sure that how it would jump to other plants, but I'm not familiar with, I have fritillaria and I don't have any problems, I just like saying fritillaria. But I don't have any issues with my fritillaria. So, yeah,
What
so
plant is that?
it's
What was that word?
it's a fritillaria.
Okay,
And it's a very tall, it grows very tall, very erect, and it has this beautiful, it's just beautiful, but it's like this, and they saying that there's some issues, so I'll have to go, if it's still there, go and take a look.
Yeah, where is this?
I don't know,
Which?
it was in the complaint, and the,
Oh, is it this one? Is it this yellow one? This one?
yeah,
Okay. It's like up at the front.
that's a different variety, it is a beautiful fritillaria.
Well, they did spell it right.
Yes,
Plant by the front walk is infested, capital letters infested.
You just
It
wanna make
just-
sure it doesn't go.
well, it
With
just
baby
needs,
to other
beetle
things.
larvae.
you need to, you
Oh
can
my.
just spray it,
Plant should be
and
removed.
they've got organic sprays that are not toxic, and what my recommendation would be is to spray it, and then before you close, and just put a plastic bag over it, and that'll contain everything, and then, big trash bag, and then take it off when you, in the morning, and that should take care, because it is a beautiful one, and it comes back year after year after year. I wouldn't remove it.
I'll check on it. I know Jim, they were out last week doing the plantings, the annuals, so
Okay.
I'm sure that they looked at it.
And the other one I thought was interesting was somebody's complaining that it's not quiet. And we talked about, why don't you tell them where our quiet space is here?
Well, unofficially, the quiet space is closer to the north end of the building, but we don't have a designated quiet space in the library. I think that complaint was about the commons, right? Yeah.
Correct.
And the
It's
magazine area.
Yeah, the magazine area.
attitude of I believe or I think that a library should be quiet.
Usually when I get complaints like that, if they come directly to me, I urge the person to speak to staff on duty at the time, because I can't do anything about it, a day or so later.
Right.
So I always try to encourage people, if somebody is doing something that disturbs you, your use of the library, please speak to staff, and then the staff can talk to that person.
I have another. I had the pleasure actually of meeting 3 staff members whom I've never met before. I came in desperate, oh my gosh, I don't know what I did to my phone, but I hit something and it erased everything. And I came in and I thought, well, I could go to Apple, it's a Saturday, but I have the library. And so I come to the desk and they were so nervous, I said, I need to talk to an IT person. And they said, oh, what is it about? I said, it's private. So this woman showed up, her name is Mary, and I have a burner phone, so when I travel, I don't want my regular phone stolen, and so that had all my photographs, and for some reason, whatever I did, they asked me for a password, not that I got hooked or anything, but anyway, it just everything disappeared. So she worked for 45 minutes. We had to go outside because the service in here was horrible. Such a nice person, and she didn't dumb me down at all. She's just like, don't be nervous, and that's why kids are so good at things, because I just was so nervous. But then I met at a lecture, I met the lovely Rebecca, and she was wonderful. And then the woman outside who was hysterical, her name is Eva.
Uh-huh.
She was great.
Yeah.
So I was asking her what, about the food trucks, which she preferred. She said, well, it's gotta be the donuts. And so here we are, but yeah. So I was just, you forget that there's so many people here that you just don't know. And they,
Quite a few new ones,
yeah, and every one of them knew and loved the trustees and the friends, and they were very, nice. Yeah, Mary and I, while she was working, I said, can you hold a conversation, because I like to talk.
Was it Mary Minor?
She's
Yeah,
in IT,
yeah,
Mary Minor,
yeah.
and I guess she's retired, she's been
Uh-huh.
here a long time, so
Yeah.
she's part-time.
Uh-huh.
But, she's got grandkids, she's telling me the whole story, so, but she fixed it,
Good.
and I was forever grateful, and she said, just keep coming on in if you have issues. I'm like, I'm gonna tell everybody, so, yeah. So.
Oh, that's great.
But it's just so nice to have, because I've never seen her before, because I don't come in on Saturdays, so you just have, and I had not met Rebecca and Eva, so it's just nice to meet new staff members who I don't know.
Good.
Yeah, and I remembered all their names.
That makes me happy.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I do have I have a couple of others. I feel like I have said this before, but I want to just reiterate how much I appreciate being on a board with so much commitment to putting the common welfare of the library and the patrons and the staff first. That is not the case with all boards. That's not the case with all library boards. So I never walk into this room feeling like, oh, so and so is gonna be there. I genuinely enjoy everybody around the table. I also just want to commend the maybe management on helping everybody to feel welcome in this library. This is June, when everybody and libraries celebrate Pride Month. And I appreciate a pride display, and to me this is suicide prevention, because people are able to see their own experiences in the materials in our collection, and that makes people feel less alone. But I think that can be said for the staff as well. And I recently learned that another local library doesn't allow their staff to wear pride pins or anything like that. And to me, those pins are a signal of allyship, and like I said, this is a kind of it provides people with a sense of belonging and lets people know that everybody belongs in our library and everybody is welcome in our library. And that, as I have shared with so many of you before, that is what I love about libraries, is that everybody is welcome and everybody is treated equally. So I just appreciate that everybody is allowed to be themselves here in our library. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Thanks for sharing that.
Agreed.
Okay. Well, thank you guys. Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.